US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Phil Baker and that other guy.
Hello and welcome to US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Exciting night, and in just a few minutes, I have two members of the newest American Rugby Premiership side. Daemon Torres, some of you remember him from his Rugby ATL and Dallas Jackal playing days, and also head coach Francesco of Atlanta Premier Rugby. They'll be joining me to talk about the club and a lot, and its goals with ARP and more. For those of you who are not familiar with the competition, ARP is the highest level non-professional competition in the U.S., just south of Major League Rugby. In fact, many current MLR players and former players are competing in the competitions. That's the level it is, and a lot of these MLR guys currently who are playing are doing it to stay rugby fit, to stay rugby minded, and stay into it. So it's incredibly competitive competition. So you keep an eye on these ARP teams; they're a lot of fun. But like I said, not just the current MLR players, former MLR players, who one of them we'll have on tonight as well. We'll get more information about the team, the newest team in Atlanta, and the competition as well in just a few minutes. Now, we don't usually cover club rugby in the show. Most of you know we're MLR, USA Rugby, and such. We cover pathways. So this makes sense because, the ARP is kind of a pathway to the higher levels. It gives players chances to improve their game, to get a better playing, maybe a better chance to make it to MLR, or who knows, even to the international level. So I'm looking forward to talking to these two here in just a couple minutes. But if you haven't noticed, my co-host, John Fitzpatrick, or the other guy in the open, is not here today. Don't be alarmed. It's 2 weeks in a row he hasn't been able to make it. I'm pretty sure he's probably on a sideline screaming at his kids somewhere at some sports field out west right now. But don't worry about it. His kids may need therapy, but they'll be fine. If you are new to the show now, please be sure to check out previous episodes on your favorite podcast player. Each one of these live shows will be released as a podcast the very next day. We've had some recent shows. Just recently, we had Will Sherman, this year's MLR #1 pick on USA Women's head coach Sione Fukufuka, who just announced he's leaving USA Rugby, and also a fun interview with USA prop Tonga Coffee, who people call the crossover athlete, played some rugby, was younger, college football. He just recently signed a deal with Leicester Tigers of Premiership in Europe. So each one of those interviews, those guys are great, a lot of fun to listen to, and really informative. So check it out. It's a lot of fun. In the meantime, please do me a favor, do us a favor, like, follow, and subscribe to these live shows, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the podcast replay or the other replays, go ahead and subscribe to that as well. It means a lot to me. It makes me feel good. All right, makes me feel good. So I appreciate that. All right, without further ado, let's get on to our show. First guest, we have two guests. Let's go to the first one first. The captain for Atlanta Premier Rugby, Daemon Torres. Daemon, how are you?
Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good, man. And also, technically, Daemon's boss, head coach of the team, Francesco Balsas.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Hope everybody's
good.
Night.
Really good to see you too. I'm sorry I didn't wear my white shirt tonight. Maybe I should put myself between you two, but no. All right, so welcome, gentlemen. I'm going to have you do something for me. I gave a very general introduction of you two, but I want to start with you, Daemon. I want you to give a brief past of who you are, maybe rugby-wise.
So I'm from Round Rock, Texas. I played rock rugby out there when I was in high school, coached by the great Paul Rock McCartney. He sent me out to Life University out of high school, played there from 2015 2020. Lucky enough, in 2020 is when Rugby ATL started, so nice little transition for me with Scott Lawrence being there as well. Pulled me up to Rugby ATL, played there for a few years until they went on their way, and then finished my time in Dallas 2024 and back in Atlanta.
And speaking of someone in Atlanta, been there for a while, I feel like I might have laced up boots with you, Francesco. Tell us about your past.
Absolutely right. I think back in I think early 2000s, if not 2000, that's when I started playing for a while. yeah, I've been involved in the club, US Rugby South since then. So it's a good over 25 years ongoing. I'm very happy to be part of this new project that we have here in Atlanta. Obviously for the entire region, Georgia through South Carolinas, and so on.
Well, I got to say, I feel like we wouldn't be doing this show any justice by not mentioning congratulations on Old White's D2 championship. I mean, come on, boys. Well done.
Cheers.
Sorry, take a bow.
Hey, thank you.
And like any club in the USA who's been around for 50 plus years, as you guys have, or Old White has, to get that trophy, to get no matter what it took to do it, finances, getting the right players, whatever else, it means so much to the old boys. So, Francesco, just briefly talk about how important, how excited and emotional, the team was, not just the players, but the old boys involved.
It's I have also sort of having flashbacks now, but yeah, I think that we wanted. I think everything was meant to happen. Since all the old boys, from the leadership to the players, and also from the coaching staff, I think that everybody agreed that we needed, a championship after 50 years of existence. But I had to hand it to a lot of old boys. I don't know if you noticed on that semi-final and final, we're wearing a black ribbon. It was one of our beloved old boys who passed away a week ago, so he couldn't see that. So you can see that the history of the club over 50 years now, how many generations of rugby players, pioneers in rugby, had to wear that jersey. So it meant a lot for us, obviously, the guys who were actually playing for it, coaching and staff, the support, and especially for the old boys, Again, 25 years in this club. I've been half life of this club here as well. So it's very emotional for everybody.
You just really dated yourself there. And Daemon, you're relatively new to the team. You're not new to Atlanta, obviously, but did you get that same sense from the reactions from the board and the old players, the old boys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously being in Atlanta for some time, I was in and out with Old Whites through some sevens and some coaching stuff as well. So I already knew the foundation of the club. So when Francesco invited me back out to play after I retired from MLR, I was ecstatic. I knew the foundation. I knew that they were building towards something. And to just kind of piggyback on what Francesco was saying, it was just like the perfect storm of guys coming in, as well as Francesco having a really good culture that balanced out like a few guys that maybe were new to the club, or coming from another club that had been a rival. It was like a whole thing. But we all were really able to put it together, and man, it wouldn't have happened without the support of the old boys. Just to see their faces after we won was better than any championship experience I've ever been a part of. Those guys have been putting the legwork in for 50 years, and this culmination of all their hard work.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's move forward, guys. ARP, Francesco, I want you to kind of, for those people who don't know what the American Rugby Premiership is, and I think we also have the Midwest Premiership. I'm not sure if there's another one, but what makes the ARP unique when compared to other competitions in this country?
Well, first of all, the ARP is being played off-season from north to south, for example, so it runs immediately after 7th season ends and just right before 15th season starts. It gives literally the opportunity to some players from D1, D2, or D3, or even college players, compete in a completely different platform that they've been doing for years past. We'd like to call it that it's a pathway for to become an Eagle. Reality is, some of them will make it, some of them won't, obviously, but it's also it's sort of how you call it, TV show per se. I mean, you're trying to present this new talent, for a higher competition. It could be the Eagles, could be the MLR, or at least some players who are just at the end of their career is like, I want to be something at my highest, at my peak, or I want to see how far can I go. And that's actually what ARP comes to play.
Daemon, where did you play when the MLR seasons were over? Where did you play in the falls, and where?
Yeah, so I actually spent a little bit of time in the ARP. 2 seasons when I was with Atlanta. I played with the 404 Academy.
Oh yeah,
in the ARPE. 2 other seasons I was injured, unfortunately, so I was rehabbing. But I just what Francesco was saying, like it's massive for guys that don't have the ability to go back overseas, like some of the guys that play in the MLR, and to get that experience in the fall and then come back and they're already ready to go. It's just another way for especially local Americans to get really high level competition without having to travel super far.
Nice. All right, so let's talk a little more about the teams here. We got in the north, there's White Plains, Nyack, Old Blue, Mystic River. I think it's those 4. South, Atlanta, Life, and Miami. Up in the north, you got Mystic River. Basically has a lot of New England Free Jacks players. Right in the right place, Free Jacks backyard. Miami seemed to have a hotbed for Miami Sharks players, but as we know, Sharks are out of MLR. So Francesco, let's talk about Miami for a second. Has that affected their roster at all?
The Miami Sharks not being so Miami. I think the idea affect them obviously because the players not having a contract and not having housing. A lot of them pretty much left the state. Some of them studied there in Florida, so we hope obviously that they will have some MLR players being with them. Last year, I think that they did have a couple of them when they were off season. Obviously, in the Sharks they transferred to Miami ARP.
Right. What about Charlotte? Have we heard much about Charlotte? Are they just not involved right now?
Charlotte unfortunately didn't have the funds to host players. Charlotte ARP usually get the players from the Anthem Academy, from the MLR Anthem Academy. And this year, I think that they have the funds to host all the players. So that's why they had to pull out of competition about a month prior to the competition started. I have no doubt. I mean, Charlotte is a fantastic club. In fact, right now we have one of their players playing for us. So we have very good. We had a very good relation with Charlotte. Obviously, from D2. Now for us, it will be on the ARP, but it's a fantastic club. I think they're going to come back next year.
They should. They've been around a long time and had one of the original, their own pitches in the South as well. So it's nice to see them keep going, hopefully. So let's dive in. Atlanta Premier Rugby, formed by Atlanta Old White and USA Rugby South. Francesco, talk about how this came about. When did discussions begin about starting this program?
A long time ago. I think that we started talking about it last year, around November. Blake from Life University, also, one of the coaches for the USA Eagles, was telling me about the opportunity. I told him we don't have the players, have the caliber to do it. Then we kept talking a little bit, throughout the season. Then All White did a fantastic, run for championship. And before the championship was over, we had a sat down again with Blake. Says, listen, I think this is feasible. Tell me all about it, and let's see. And that's how this project was born, which was, I would like to, yes, we were funded by All White, USA Rugby South as well. We got a couple of sponsors, behind us. We got a lot of old boys and people who just love rugby in Georgia, supporting us and giving us, some funds that we need. But the origination of this project was, again, to give the opportunity to the players from other clubs, not All White, but from Charlotte, from, for example, I mean, if you got a second, we got players from D3, from High Country, another player from Rugby, who right now is competing in D3. We got a player from Huntsville, who competes on D3 and 2 South. We got a player from Nashville. We got a player from Birmingham. So all these clubs that are doing a great job making, these players, coaching these players, but now they've had the opportunity to make those players play at a higher level. Once the competition is over, they go back to their club, share the experiences, and we improve rugby all around. We also have college players, of course. ASU, a local university, Georgia Tech. We have from Oklahoma. We have another one. I'm probably forgetting Virginia Tech as well. So It's a comprehensive opportunity for everybody, not club, not just wide, but D2, D3. I think we have one player from D1 from up north as well.
Wow, and as we mentioned earlier about Old White winning the D2 title this past spring, so Daemon, does this change this side change the dynamic Old White has built over the years? Is it still going to be the D2, D3 side? Also, the mentality of it. This is not going to take away from that, right?
No, I just think that it grants an opportunity for some of those guys that have been, I'd say, stuck in the D2 level because of circumstance. In the Southeast, there's not a ton of Division I teams, and there's not a lot of competition. It's a lot of travel. It's a lot of money. It's just not feasible. Whereas in the ARP, it's a lot more local, and it grants these guys opportunities if they want to put their hat forward for MLR, or they just want to play at the highest level they possibly can while they still can. So that's really the dynamic now. I don't think it changes. We still train with our D2 and D3 teams on, we warm up together. We break down practice together. It doesn't change anything. I think Francesco's done a great job building a culture of togetherness and family. So I just think it's an opportunity for these guys. That's what they see it as, less than, kind of looking down on it.
So then that's really the goal of the Atlanta Premier side, Francesco, is just improving, generally speaking, improving the level of play of each one of these players and improving the level of play in that area of the South or wherever they're going back to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to name a few, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 8 guys to play. 2 of them are actually playing in the MLR right now. 3 of them, I'm sorry. The other 5 play until last year on the MLR. So we want to showcase the talent, local talent, of course. At the same time, we do understand that we need high caliber players to compete. That's with the Daemon, Torres, Matthew Roy, Fred Ajuga Henry, that's into place, Will Leonard, Matt Heaton, it's involved as well in the program. We got Ross Deacon, the proper number 8, historical number 8. Who else? Jonas Petrokopoulos, Miami Sharks is here. Oh, he's coaching Scrum. So it's also the opportunity to be coached by someone specific to your expertise or skill. And that's what we are offering. We want to compete. We are not just here to see what happened. We want to compete, improve, obviously, the local rugby, but at the same time, we want to be proud of our name. We are premier for a reason.
Well, you mentioned Matt Heaton a second ago, who's currently with Canada, helping them, qualify for the World Cup, which is more than I can say about the USA right now. But I'm assuming he's been camped for a little while, at least early on. Is he the kind of level player that maybe even you, Francesco's, kind of feed off of him as well with his experience as a coach?
Oh, yeah, big time. Again, I may be the head coach, but I'm not the only brains in the operation. I have all the former MLR players with me on the coaching staff. So we're making decisions all based, on the best outcome for it. I relied a lot on their expertise. I relied a lot on their point of view, on their skills, and also at the same time, hard to switch from being a player to being a coach. So I think that I will say that I'm trying to do a good job on trying to have these similar guys transition into coach eventually. And they're giving so much back, into a sport, just being here. So hopefully, not now, but hopefully in 20 years from now, once Daemon Torres, retires, he's going to be head coach. And hopefully follows, and the coach of the Eagles. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
You never know. You mentioned earlier about possible players, and Daemon, I'll throw this at you since you know who I'm about to mention, or better than we do probably, but possibly getting, I don't know, noticed is the right word, or scouted, but getting to the level where maybe they can move on to the next level. So obviously Scott Lawrence lives north of Atlanta, and you know Scott from your Life days. Is he someone, is there pathways as far as being noticed while playing for Atlanta Premier Rugby? Is it Or am I overthinking it? Is it not really about that yet? You know what I'm saying?
I think it definitely plays a factor. If I know Scott, he's always got his eyes on the next best thing. Someone coming up, someone doing something, and even if it's not for the Eagles per se right now, Anthem is 4 hours up the road. He's got the ears of most of the coaches in the MLR. If he sees something or someone that he likes, he's going to know. He's pretty on top of that. And I think that it's something to keep in the back of your mind, but it's not what our goal is, to be fair. I think to us, it's a little bit less than that. I want to help put some of these guys on a pedestal and help them get to that next level. That's what they want to do. But at the end of the day, it's about playing high level footy and winning games. And that's really what our goal is to not just be a part of the competition and push guys forward, but also be noticed as a Atlanta Premier Rugby.
Yeah. Francesco, was this a hard sell, say, to the other teams in the Atlanta area? I mean, there's always a love-hate. Whatever city you play in, there's a love-hate relationship between clubs. As I mentioned, Life, High Country, you mentioned Renegades. Was this a tough sell with them? Or was it kind of like, this is a great idea, let's get on board, let's get some of our players and tryouts, that kind of thing?
Well, I would like to think, I'm going to tell you the truth. Yes, obviously it was a very hard sell.
Yeah.
But I would like to think, I always like to see the positive side on it, right?
Yeah.
I guess this is going to be our first year. I think that everybody's skeptical about, this is all Wise just rebranded and trying to poach players, bring players to their own team or so on, and it's not. So that's why this year will be so crucial, and that's why I mentioned all the universities that our players represent, some of the three clubs players that we have playing and training with us. I don't blame them. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't blame them. If someone comes to my city, puts, I don't know, a D1 club, it's like, oh, they're going to get all my players and this and that. That's not truly the intention. The intention is to improve the players, showcase them, even a higher opportunity. It's not about saying they cannot do that job. I think that every club here in the Southeast region has the capability, but some clubs only have 1 or 2 good players. But the idea is to bring them all together for 3-4 months, then we release them. So that's the basic idea. And we're always going to have people opposing, clubs opposing, sometimes even unions opposing us, that they don't want us in the backyard. But hey, we're here to stay. We're not here just only to see what's going on. Hopefully down the road, they start saying, oh, you know what? Actually, my player went to AP, and he came back a better player. The player can be, teaching the other players like Jonas Petrokopoulos, which is coaching the scrums. We get a prop. The prop goes back, to that only has, a backline coach. He's going to start coaching the scrums, proper technique and skill. That's, kind of the grassroots rugby that we want as well.
And is that a reason why the group chose Atlanta Rugby Premiership, whatever it is? I'm getting all those mixed up. Instead of Old White Premiership? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That makes sense. And that's the same thing for the logo. Your logo has the club logos of, I'm assuming, the players who are on your roster right now as one group. So you're not saying, screw you, we're taking your players. You're saying, no, we're doing this together. Am I saying that right? Should I do the marketing material for you? Should I go ahead and do it?
You got the business. Straight to the point. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Daemon, if someone said, hey, why should I go play for Atlanta? What do you tell them? It's not just because of that beautiful pitch you play on. What do you tell them?
For me, it's an easy decision. You get to live in one of the biggest but most bustling cities in America. I love Atlanta. It's an amazing city. You can be in the country or you can be in the city in 30 minutes, go any direction. But to be fair, it's more about the group, the core that kind of moved into the Atlanta Premier Rugby setup with coaches like Francesco and Paul Karen and guys from the D2 team. It just is a no-brainer. You look at some of this, you just have to come to one training and you see how connected everybody is, and it's like, wow. Like these guys know each other, they like each other, they appreciate each other, they respect each other, and they want to work and play hard. And lastly, the club takes care of the guys. Like the club sorts guys out if they're in need, if they're going through hardships, if somebody is always reaching out, if your dog is sick or your aunt needs a ride. You know, it's somebody's there for you at all times. And I think that's just, it's a hard thing to find, especially nowadays. So it's a no-brainer.
Hey, Daemon, since I got you, Francesco did mention some of the players in the roster. And I know it's hard to call out certain players because they're all on your team, your teammates, whatever else. But I mean, if I show up to a match, or if anyone shows up to a match in Atlanta, are there some players you're like, listen, these guys are exciting to watch, look out for X, Y, and Z? Anyone you can talk about?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we mentioned Ross Deacon. He's one of my close friends. He's just an absolute animal. Like the guy, you just put him on the field, and he's a bowling ball. Anything that gets around him gets sucked into like a black hole. He is just a game director. And then Will Leonard in the centers. I played with him for a bit in Atlanta, and played against him. He was with New York and with LA. The guy is just a hard as nails, tough dude who's smart and has a good kicking game. And it's like, it's tough to find those all around guys that can actually beat you at everything. And believe me, I've seen him in the gym. He can beat you at everything. And lastly, I think it's a young fella we've got coming up, Mateo Gadsden. He spent the last couple of years with Anthem. He's been a little bit in and out of the lineup, but he's such an exciting young kid. He's like 6'5", fast, strong, athletic, smart, good hands. Like he just has one or two pieces to put together, and look out, he'd be absolutely terrifying.
All right. Well, everyone, if you go to a match, look out for those guys and all the rest, of course.
Of course, everybody, guys.
Of course. Francesco, so you have your first match this weekend against Miami. You mentioned that earlier. Do you have any thought about how you can gauge your side against others? I mean, how you think? I mean, we never know day in and out how you're going to compete against the team, but are you able to gauge, and how? I mean, did you have some preseason matches to help you really see the level of your team? I don't even know if I'm asking that question right. Do you know what I'm saying? Any thought about how you're going to perform?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that Miami is struggling the same way that we were, for example, because they didn't have any match. You know, obviously before competition, you want to have one or two matches prior to play a match for the points, right? They didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
We did have that opportunity to have two interims for the scrimmages, to try new combinations on players and so on. I think that this first match is crucial because both of our teams are going to be learning the way of play that we're going to have here in Atlanta in 3 days. I'm expecting from them quite a physical match, and more backline related than forwards heavy per se. Again, they have a lot of talent. Been watching them, from actually this year from the base of Miami Tridents. That they have new players on it. They do have quite a good backline. They've been playing together for quite a while. They do have a strong pack, but they are more backline leaning than forward. I would say that our team is actually quite good in all phases. We do have some threats on players in the backline, on the pack. It will be a good mixture to see. First half will be crucial, and then make a couple of adjustments to see if we're going to have to play it more forwards orientated, open the ball more, or just going to be, more kicking game, strategic game, say. The first 40 minutes, that would be crucial.
Daemon, I mean, either one of you can answer this question. Just speaking about matches, generally speaking, are there any crossover matches with the North and also the ARP final? Is that a North versus South thing?
You can have this one, Francesco.
I tried.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only have this year in this edition. We're only going to have the champion from the South playing a final with the champion of the North.
Okay.
That was set up that way before the competition started. And Charlotte, unfortunately, dropped, and we only have 4 matches before our 5th match in the South. The 5th match will be the final. In the North, obviously, they have 6 matches, per team, plus the final, which is going to be the 7th match per se. Hopefully by next year that will change. We're just on the look.
Well, good. Can't wait to see it. Before I let you guys go, Daemon, this is most definitely for you. We've had some players in the team on the show who were with, say, L.A. Giltinis, Dallas Jackals, who were heavily affected by when the Jackals closed the door, your last season, 24. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that, how tough it was for you and your teammates to deal with that?
Yeah, it's a really tough situation to be in. The writing was kind of on the wall, I'd say, towards the tail end of the regular season for us. And it was tough to have the feeling of some of the, I won't say all of it because it just wouldn't be true, but some of the upper management not seeing your value and not seeing why it's working or whatever reason, because we actually had a very good year that year, made it all the way to the semifinal.
Yeah.
So the boys, kind of rally around each other, get through it. And then at the end, it's a surreal feeling because it's like, this might be the last iteration of this team, and hopefully one day there is another team in Dallas and another team in Atlanta and, New York and Miami and NOLA. And I do think that will be the case in the future. But for the guys in the moment, it's a lot of juggling. It's a lot of trying to figure new stuff out. And it's a lot of really, I'd say, just sadness, because we all just love to play the game. And for it to fall apart like that after you feel like you're doing so well, it is a bit hurtful. Lots of guys move their families from all over the world to be in those places. It's very tough. But in the end, you'll never forget those memories that you made with those guys. And there's always going to be a new team every year anyways.
Yeah.
No team from, last year's old white team is going to be the same as next year's team. So, you roll with the punches. It's American professional rugby. A lot of people kind of know what they're signing up for, including myself when I was doing it. So you just got to keep on keeping on and understand the landscape. And that's basically it.
You mentioned Atlanta, of course, when they went out and removed LA, let's just say. Excuse me. Does Atlanta, I hate saying this, but does Atlanta deserve another MLR team? But let's just say MLR actually expands one year. Do they? And what I mean by that is, at least I never actually went to a match down there. I've been to a lot of Free Jacks matches. I don't know if you ever played in New England, but quite a different in crowd and how things were run possibly. Mm-hmm. So with that said, is Atlanta a good market for an MLR team?
I think if you get the right group behind it, it's absolutely a great market for it. There was a lot of controversy towards the end of the reign in Atlanta, and we all are aware of. And that kind of dug us in a really deep hole that people were really turned off by professional rugby in Atlanta. And even I'd say some people now would be like, no, we don't want it. And like you said, do we deserve it even? I think absolutely. There's too much high-level talent in the Southeast that are being overlooked because we don't have somewhere that is consistently putting guys out other than I'd say Life, which obviously I'm a big fan of. That's my alma mater. I'll always be a fan of Life, but there needs to be more than one to build into something else. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is equipped to go to university and get their master's and then do this and be a chiropractor and do all that, other ways to try to figure it out. And I think if you get the right group behind it, you get a good set of management, a good set of coaches. Atlanta absolutely has the talent, plus, other guys from overseas to figure it out.
Well, my days of playing against life back in the day when Richard Tardis played for them, it was early on. I don't know if you remember Richard Tardis at all. You obviously didn't play with him, but some quality teams back there. Ireland and USA playing on the upper pitch. I don't know how they fit an international match on that, but gentlemen, Daemon, Torres, Francesco Balsas, Atlanta Premier Rugby. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck this season, man. Cheering for you.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.